Welcome back to another video. Today we'll be looking at Leprechaun, released in 1993. The movie begins with Leprechaun walking down some stairs, saying he'll kill anyone who touches his precious gold.
We go. Won't live through the night.
Unfortunately for this guy, who arrives to his house with a personal limo, driver, and fancy new clothes, he tells his wife he got some gold after asking a leprechaun where the gold is at. While making tea, Mrs. Grady hears a little boy complaining that he can't breathe him inside the suitcase. She unlocks it and Leppy Boy pops out of it. He's mad about his gold and pushes her back down the stairs. With no luck, she dies from her fall. He confronts Dan and asks where's his gold at. Dan ain't fucking around though, and he grabs a gun. Leprechaun unfazed, sipping the dead's white tea, and is unfazed by the gun. He is phased though when Dan takes out a 4-leaf clover. After Dan blasts a few shots, Leppy Boy hilariously runs away. He goes down the stairs and fires some more after he imitates his dead wife.
Give him the gold, Dan. He's a nice little leprechaun.
He carries Leppy into a wooden crate and puts the 4-leaf clover over it to keep him trapped in there. He goes to light the crate on fire, but Leppy puts a curse on him with the last of his powers and gives him a stroke, leaving Leprechaun still trapped in there, unable to get out. 10 years later, we see JD Redding and his daughter Tori, played by a young Jennifer Aniston. They are just moving in, but we see that she's very bougie and is already talking down about their new home.
Going to be miserable here. There's no swimming pool, there's no shopping malls, there's no cable.
Here's some more complaining while we're at it.
Just when I thought this house couldn't get any worse.
As she walks to book a hotel outside, she bumps into Jack Nathan. She tries to pay him off, but he just wants an apology. He makes fun of her, and it's funny how girls are afraid of spiders and webs. She ain't taking that shit though. He tells her dad to put her suitcase back. We then meet little kid Alex and kid by heart Ozzy. Ozzy gets paint all over his face. He heads inside to clean himself off and hears the little kid's voice coming from the basement. When he reaches the box, he knocks out the 4-leaf clover, which gives Leprechaun all his powers back. He demands for his gold, but Ozzy says he doesn't know anything about it. He's able to open the door and leave, even with Leppy using his powers to close it with him not being a full power yet. Ozzy yells crazily that there's a leprechaun in the basement. Obviously none of them believe him. To calm his nerves, Nathan says that he would check it out. Corey and the others follow quickly behind him. When they get to the basement, they don't see him. They hear a noise and become spooked. Turns out it was just a rat. A rainbow forms outside, and the two leave to find the gold at the end of the rainbow. They find the end of it by a broken truck. A bag appears, and Alex finds a bag of gold. Ozzy tries to see if it's real by biting into it, but the dumbass accidentally swallows it. They both leave to hide the bag of gold. Alex says they can use it to fix Ozzy's brain and make him smart in a very heartwarming but sad scene. Back to the flirting teens, Tori and Nathan start to paint the house. They run out and Tori goes to the truck for another paint can. Perverted Leppy presses Tori's leg. Thinks it's Nathan at first, even though that would literally be impossible. When she turns around, she finds that it wasn't him. She screams and gets scratched by the weirdo. Everyone rushes to her, but find nothing under the truck. They hear cat noises coming from a tree hole. JD sticks his hand in to get the cat and gets bitten. They rush him to the hospital to attend his injuries. Alex and Ozzy goes into those coins to get some money for their coins. Leprechaun, I'm guessing, followed them in a tricycle he found. Joey says he wants to inspect the coins overnight after thinking the coins might be valuable. He opens the safe and finds Leppy Boy in there. He chomps into the store owner's leg and then plays pogo all over his body, killing this local shop owner. He's then seen in a miniature car and he's going way over the speed limit. The cop stops him and inspects the vehicle. This shitty cop starts to make fun of him though. Leppy doesn't take any discrimination and rips into the cop's face. The cop flees into the woods to get free. He thinks he's safe, gets sneak attacked by a flying leprechaun. Who promptly snaps his neck. At a restaurant, they clash over food. The others arrive to join them. Meanwhile, Leppy heads back to the house to find his precious gold. He looks through the drawers and finds nothing, but gets distracted by some shoes that he's forced to clean. They go back into the house and find the house all fucked up. The group thinks it's stupidly a bear and decides just to clean up the mess. They hear a bell coming from the kitchen and Nathan heads outside to check it out. Nathan falls into a bear trap and Leprechaun pops out teasing him.
The bear trap. I'm gonna make you sexy up.
Leppy tries to chop off his foot, but just gets punched. The group finds the leprechaun, and each of them just start beating the shit out of him. Nathan gets a shotgun and shoots him point blank. They carry him inside to treat his injuries. They manage to get inside the truck, but it won't start. They send the little kid to fix it, but Leppy jump scares the little kid. Gets back into the truck. Outside the truck, Leppy Boy punches through the windshield and takes a little nibble into Ozzy's ear. Lori is able to burn Leprechaun's nose, having him retreat back into the barn. In just a few seconds, he busts through the barn with his own homemade cart. He's able to ram through the truck, forcing it to flip on its side. The group still manages to get inside the house with Leppy chasing right behind them. They close the door and his hand is chopped off. No biggie though, because he's practically immortal and puts his hand right back on. Alex tells Tori about the gold. She heads out to give it back to Leprechaun. She hands him the gold and after a little talking, he leaves. As he's counting the gold, he realizes he's missing one coin. Alex opens the fridge and finds Leprechaun in there who pounces on him. Nathan gets him off and tries to shoot him. After a little peekaboo, Leppy Boy grabs his crotch and runs. He comes out the chimney and gets blasted yet again. Nathan checks on him, but he's still alive and he runs off. Hearing him underground, they put their head on the floor as he pops out. This little fucker is shot again, but is not phased at all. He gets a call from the house phone, but Leppy doesn't want to talk to her. He just wants to lend her a hand. Ozzy informs Tori that Dan, the previous owner, might know how to stop the leprechaun. Tori hops in the Jeep and drives away as the others distract him by throwing shoes, forcing him to clean them. She enters the retirement home and fights Dan, asking him how to stop the leprechaun.
Way to kill a leprechaun, but I'm not going.
I'll never tell you.
He chases her in this goofy looking scene, but she makes it into the elevator. Dan pops from the top of the elevator, and with his last words tells her a 4-leaf clover can kill him. Tori gets back and starts to look for a 4-leaf clover. He catches up and chases her. She sticks a baton in his eye. It's okay though, he just uses a dead cop eye to put it back in as backup. Just as he puts it fully in, he gets blasted out of the cop car and continue to search for the clover. Out of frustration, she finds one that even glows up. Alex is attacked, but the others show up to save him. Ozzy tells the little green freak that the last coin is in his belly. Leprechaun then chases after him as he runs away. Starts slicing into Ozzy viciously. Alex puts the 4-leaf clover into a slingshot and says a cheesy one-liner.
Fuck you, Lucky Charms.
Oh my god, that looks fucking amazing. Even has some green beans coming out of him. He burned the well and the cop arrives. Now that the movie is recapped, let's get right into the review. This movie was pretty predictable to anyone who's ever watched any type of slasher movie. Suspense is a D+. The movie has some jump scares and squirmish kills that are pretty memorable in my opinion. Or is a C+. There's a shit ton of chasing and fighting going on in this movie. Although some are really played out. Action is a C-. Could you not laugh and enjoy this little shit killing everyone? Comedy is a A-. I personally enjoy this movie. It's just a standard horror movie that is there to entertain you and nothing else. This movie is a C+.